Hello, hope all is awesome with you. I've had some questions about my previous videos regarding my near-death experience, and realized that there's some key pieces of information that I left out. So I'm hoping to get into that right here, right now. So yes, of course, I had a near-death experience in April of 2011. Took a 26-foot fall out of a tree and hit concrete head first. Understand that I was not clinically dead. My heart did not officially stop. However, I was next to death. I was very close to death, as there was speculation as to whether or not I would even survive. I had major brain trauma. I had bleeding in the brain in 3 places with not a lot of activity to speak of on my brain. I had a badly punctured lung, which kept filling up with blood. I was in constant respiratory crash for several days, as I was on a mechanical lung for those several days. I get into more detail about what actually happened as far as the fall and the medical stuff in my other videos, so I'm going to concentrate more on the actual near-death experience in this video and trying to answer the questions, and also I imagine I'll probably rehash some things along the way as well that were in other videos. Okay, for me, it was definitely more of an experience. I had, being next to death, I had no sense of my body at all. Being in a coma for 5 days, I'm not sure exactly when it happened or how long it even lasted. It just felt like a moment when I was in that space. Now, I had no sense of my body, no sense of my physical self. What I felt was me in terms of my own pure being. There were no walls, no obstructions, just pure me. All my thoughts, my feelings, everything were just pure, absolutely, just completely unadulterated and as fully accessible as they could be. And in that space I was having an experience of both dark and light all at once, and everything in between. But at the same time feeling the essence, the true source of it all was light. And it is light. Through that I've realized that light is the essence of all things. It is the source of all things. It is that point of consciousness. I even believe in scientific terms, quantum theory terms, that the unified field is in effect light. I mean, photons are a fundamental particle. However, I think this reference to light is not just so much a physical reference as it is a metaphorical reference as well. So with that, it's darkness that comes from light. It didn't begin in darkness and then light sprang out. It was the other way around. Even though it seems kind of abstract, I believe that's true. I was in that space. I knew I wasn't going to die that day. I knew I was close. I knew I was next to death. But I was not given a choice. Like I said, I knew I was going to be back, and also was going to come back with something to share, which is why I make these videos, why I'm writing a book, hoping to make a movie, so on. I could feel my loved ones all around me, those that had passed before me. I even had a sense of my ancestors. And in a way that sounds kind of crazy, because I'm a believer in past and future lives, and the soul living multiple lives and having multiple experiences. But those are the feelings that I had while I was there, especially with respect to my loved ones that I've known in this life, those that I've been closest to that have passed. I felt them. And I wanted to explore while I was there, because to me, this space of being next to death is all part of the dream state. And I know that there are those out there thinking that the dream state, that all happens in the head. That's all confined in the workings of the brain. And to an extent that's true. But at the same time, the brain's just a mechanism, and it's just a reflection of a deeper realities. And I'm gonna get into that in other videos. I definitely have a lot of thoughts and ideas about that. But suffice it to say, you know, what we experience here is just a small piece of that, and the brain is just a mechanism that is part of that experience. So my point is that while in this dream space, I was feeling like I wanted to explore this. Now, I don't know if you've had dreams where you know you're dreaming and you're able to take it over and make it what you want. I've had those kinds of dreams where I can breathe underwater, I can fly, I can go from a mountain setting to an ocean setting, I can be anything I want to be anywhere I want to be in that dream, just with a thought. And I wanted to do that in this space. I felt like I could just do anything. But understand, as a dream space, or the feeling of a dream, it was incredibly lucid. Everything just felt so incredibly clear. And what I felt along with my own pure being in this clarity was pure being itself. And it was literally the all of everything. It was all of space-time, past, present, and future, the expanse of the universe, getting into multiple realities and parallel universes, all probability and possibility, everything you can imagine, and infinite dimensions, all at once. It's basically reality existing in a state of the ultimate superposition. And superposition is a quantum theory term that refers to atomic particles, subatomic particles being able to exist in multiple places at once. And I felt like in this space everything was existing in multiple places at once. It was all everything at once. Dark, light, the expanse of every probability, possibility, all thought, all matter, all of everything, all at once. And with that was the most profound sense of love. It was so pure, just permeating, and just so incredibly powerful. But with that, I was also experiencing life in its purest form. It just felt so just incredibly alive. The essence of life itself. Call it spirit, call it chi. It was the essence of that which is life. And also mind in its purest form. I felt intelligence, incredible intelligence. And I realized that there are those that talk about the holographic universe, it's all an illusion, etc. I'm not going to call it an illusion. I think it's a reflection of that mind. All part of the grand experience, which I do talk about in other videos. But I did have that experience of everything existing all at once. And also gaining the understanding that this whole creation, all of it, it comes from this point of consciousness. Creation, the mind, the brain, I should say, does not create consciousness. It's the other way around. Consciousness creates thought, creates matter, creates everything. You know, this is consciousness, which in scientific terms or quantum theory terms, to me, is the same thing as a unified field. You try to define consciousness, try to define the unified field, I think you're talking about the same thing. So for me, I realize that there are definitely those that have objections about near-death experience, and I get it. I've been studying that along with studying a lot of other things. And I'm going to get into a lot more of that in another video. But suffice it to say, for me it was an incredibly profound experience that absolutely changed my life. I mean, yes, there's the perspective of the fact that when you come that close to death and you have a second chance at life, you want to make the most of it, and I certainly do. But at the same time, my mind has been opened. The way I think, the way I live my life, the way I perceive things, even the way I'm able to learn now is all different. I feel like I'm on just a whole other level from where I was before. And I've come to realize also that in our physical bodies, given the reptilian brain, and our fight or flight impulse, that fear is a natural response for our animal natures. But for the soul, it is love. That is the natural response, or more to the point, the natural state. And given this experience, that door has been opened. I feel like I have that access now. And don't get me wrong, I'm not blind to what's going on in the world. I know all the problems that we have in this world. I watch the news, I read on the internet. But at the same time, I recognize there's a lot of love and beauty in this world. And probably the single biggest thing I've learned, or I've gotten from this whole near-death experience, is that it's my choice to get to focus in on that. And I encourage, of course, that we all do that. The more of us that are doing that, and the more love there is in the world.